Guys, welcome back. Workplace Session Life in Jiu Jitsu. I know it's been a while. I apologize. I've been out and about running a few different things, trying to get what will be the Workplace Obsession All-In Foundation up and running, guys. So to continue on with our mission, leveraging Jiu Jitsu and soon to be stand-up paddleboarding to build a community of familiarity and inclusivity for military, law enforcement, firefighters, survivors of domestic terrorism, dealing with the invisible wounds of trauma. So pretty broad category there, but we want to be all in, meaning all inclusive. We don't want to limit anyone. We want to provide pre-incident, post-incident support for people, bringing people together and just sharing our experiences and having a great time. So welcome back, guys. Like I said, thanks again for dealing with my lengthy leave of absence, I guess I could call that. It's been a little bit over a month. So guys, today for you guys, I have Alex Dugas here. We are going to talk about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Rollathon going down here at Noel Smith, BJJ, on the 5th of October.
Yep.
I have that right? Yeah, here, like I just said, here in this area. So as we get started, I will let you introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Cool. First off, thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Appreciate
Anytime.
it. So I'm Alexander Dugas, and I am a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I practice mostly out of Noel Smith, BJJ in Glen Burnie. I started training in June of 2011 at MD BJJ in Pasadena. It was run by Monroe Hall and Alfred Kablinski. And then when that shut down in January of 2015, went over to Noel's and been training there ever since. And then about 2 years ago is when I went full-time, sort of teaching, training, and so on. And that's pretty much it. That's
how'd you get your start back in 2011?
So there's like a short version and a long version.
Yeah.
Right?
Feel free. The mic's open.
The basic gist is, so I started out, like I said, in June of 2011. I was kind of like a wayward youth. Dropped out of school, did a lot of partying and drinking and all this stuff, and then kind of wanted to get my life in order. And I had wanted to train martial arts or jiu-jitsu for a long time, but I was always kind of like hesitant to pull the trigger. You know, a lot of ideas, but not a lot of action. And then started training. You know, pulled the trigger, and loved it immediately. It was like training jiu-jitsu for the first time was like feeling like I was doing what it was that I was put on this earth to do. Nice. Like, it sounds kind of hyperbolic, but that's what it felt like.
No, that's understandable. I mean, a lot of people have that experience. So
yeah, and then so I was pretty committed, and then I don't mean to take this to such a heavy place so quickly, but and then in September of that year, so I'd been training a few months. I had a friend of mine who worked with me at my day job, who trained over at Crazy 88.
Okay.
And long story short, we were hanging out one night, and he was all kind of whacked out on something or other. And then he left for the night, and I went to bed, and when I woke up the next day, his car was still in front of my house.
Oh, wow.
And when I went to check on him, he had passed away.
Right.
He had overdosed on a combination of things.
Okay.
And the last thing he said to me the night before he left was, he had been training but wasn't super serious about it. And he said he wanted to rededicate himself and get his blue belt. And after kind of like wrestling with everything, I sort of made the decision that I was going to take this experience and take this loss and turn it into fuel to do something better with my life. And so I kind of said to myself, I'm going to commit myself to jiu-jitsu. I'm going to get my blue belt. I'm going to get it for myself. I'm going to get it because you can't take your life for granted. And that kind of put me on the path to where I've gotten to today.
Right. Now we're 9 years later.
Yeah.
Teaching, I'm assuming adults and children.
Yeah, mostly adults at this point. But
yep. So yeah, now you're teaching, and you're doing events like this, which are really important. Putting a lot of time and effort into continuing what we have, what has been going on. I think this is the third or fourth one.
Yeah, I believe it's the third one.
Yeah, the third one. So shout out to our mutual friend Becca Nyberg. So she's does the majority of the legwork for this event, and actually she invited me to the first one. That's how I got involved. So without her, really, this event wouldn't even exist. And we all kind of found each other through jiu-jitsu, which is what I talk about a lot, building that community. And now we have this outstanding event that's happening for the third time once a year, and we bring people together from wherever they come from. This year we're having Chris Baumgartner from Delaware is coming out.
First State Martial Arts.
First State Martial Arts, yep. He's also a veteran, so I'm going to spend some time and have some great conversations with him. So looking forward to that. But yeah, it's grown from what we thought was going to be a small local event to tri-state event, probably more than that. I mean, in this area, It's pretty easy to get people from multiple states because we're so close, but a pretty exciting event. So let's talk a little bit about the event itself. What's the format going to look like, basically? Give me a general overview.
Sure. So, and actually, sort of a announcement. I don't think
absolutely.
Put out there so far is that we've decided to extend the event by 1 hour. So it's still going to start at 10 a.m., but we're actually going to go to 5 p.m. Basically, we had so many people interested in doing the mini seminars that we were trying to figure out, well, how can we do this? How can we do that? And then it just ultimately made the most sense. Just, let's add the extra hour.
Nice, an extra hour.
We have like 6 seminars. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the basic format starts at 10 a.m. So the Rollathon will begin in the main jiu-jitsu mat area at Knowles. In the back of the building, on the same side as the jiu-jitsu mat, is where we have our big back counter. And there we'll have Shane Coover of Tartaruga Battle Gear Station. He'll be selling T-shirts, the proceeds of which, or percentage of the proceeds of which, will be going to the AFSP. And that's also where we'll have the items for the silent auction.
Approximately how many items do we have for the silent auction?
I don't have a number off the top of my head, but we got some stuff from some gi manufacturers. We have, chiropractic assessments, and we have some private lessons from black belts on the table.
Nice,
there. So
nice.
I think we'll probably make an announcement via the event page in the next couple of days or so of some more specifics.
Nice. Now, do you have to still be there to win the silent auction, or will you be notified, hey, I put a bid on this, my bid won, someone's going to reach me via email or something like that?
Yeah, we can work that the second option out there.
So just so you know, guys, you don't have to be there to win. I mean, obviously you show up, you place your bid, you're there, you participate a little bit, but if you have to leave, and you leave, if you win, your bid wins, you will be contacted and receive your prize, your award, your whatever it may be. So but just come on out and support, man. It's going to be a great event. So extended by an hour. Okay, so what do we have as far as instructors?
Right. So, and actually, I have the official lineup today.
Absolutely. You can throw it here if you want on the table, and so it makes it easy for you to see.
Yeah. So we have obviously you, Topaz Navarro.
Yeah, you guys don't want to learn from me. Not just kidding.
I'm actually yours is one of the seminars I'm the most excited for.
Oh, well, thank you. He's just saying that because he's sitting right here, but that's
right. I'm doing Kenneth Brown's podcast in an hour, and I'm Ken, I'm most excited for yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Topaz here at 11. Then we have Chris Baumgartner at 12. So that's the gentleman that Topaz here was just talking about a moment ago. He's a black belt under Pedro Sauer and John Garfield. He's the head instructor at First State Martial Arts. He's got almost 20 years of jiu-jitsu experience, 18 years in law enforcement, and served as a Marine. So
Marine. See, I had that wrong. I was thinking Army. I apologize.
And then at 1 p.m. we're going to have João Paulo Ferreira, who's most people in this area know him are pretty familiar with him, but he's a black belt under Alliance. He's the head instructor now at Agogi BJJ. It's a beautiful facility, man. He did a great job.
JP was my instructor for a few years. Incredible instructor, really nice guy. I'm really glad that he's going to be at the event today, or not today, be at the event on the 5th, and I'm excited. I'm excited to learn from JP. Yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah, he always, I could say to anybody who's planning on coming, anytime you're at a JP class or a seminar or anything, he has that dynamic that people with a lot of experience tend to get, where they'll say something that seems really simple to them but is a really profound piece of information.
Yes.
A concept or something you're like, oh, that makes a lot of things make sense. So definitely don't miss out on that. And then at 2 p.m. we have Monroe Hall. He's the head instructor over at Baltimore BJJ. He's a black belt under Carlos David Oliveira's Roberto Traven. And he's been in this area for about 20 years. He's been teaching jiu-jitsu, self-defense, combatives, behavioral aid, just a really diverse background, a pretty decorated competitor as well.
Nice.
He just won the, was it gold at the DC Open in, was that July?
Awesome. That's going to be great. Yeah, just July, I believe, yeah.
Yep, and then at 3, we're going to have Caitlin Carlucci. She's a brown belt under Diego Bispo, and she's one of the instructors at Aries BJJ. She has 12 years of experience. She has a background in social work and advocacy.
Yeah. It's funny because I actually didn't know her real name. So we talk all the time not all the time, but regularly on Instagram.
Oh, wow. Right, because she's what, at Mommy Grappler?
Yeah,
or something?
at Mommy Grappler, exactly. So
Yeah.
I only know her by her handle. That's why when you started to read the background, I was like, oh, I do know who that is.
Yeah.
She's great, man. She's great. Really great person. Really is passionate about helping the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. Yeah, great. So I'm excited. That's pretty cool.
I'm pretty stoked for that too. Especially, I feel like she competes at 129 pounds, and I think that whether it be women or just small people in general, there's a lot of things that they see larger instructors take for granted.
Yeah.
You just grab the sleeve and bring it across here, and they're looking at it like, well, what if I can't just take the arm across?
Yeah, no, it goes back to the roots of jiu-jitsu where, hey, I see this technique, but it doesn't necessarily work for me like this.
Right.
How do I adjust it to make it work for my body type? It's almost the same. That's really what you're looking at when you talk about that.
Right at the beginning, right at the foundation of things. So I think anybody who's like a small person who struggles with, being a small person, wrestling bigger people, this will be a great seminar for those people.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I think she said, she posted on Facebook, someone asked what she's planning on teaching, and she said, and I'm quoting, "Destroy the larger opponents and drink the blood of our enemies." So,
right.
Yeah, so
what time is that? I gotta make sure.
That's at 3 p.m.
I gotta make sure I'm there for that. I need to learn that stuff, or learn how to defend it, so I don't, become a victim.
Right. Right. A lot of people teaching small person versus big person jiu-jitsu. Where's the people teaching big person versus small person jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. I think most people say that's not fair or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. And then finally, kind of main event, so to speak, at 4 p.m. we got Kenneth Brown. Obviously, most people know him. He's the head instructor at Second Gear BJJ. He's a black belt under Mike Moses and Evolve Academy. Ken's been training forever, over 10 years, and very decorated, and probably one of the most consistently competitive guys in the area.
Yeah, I train with Kenny every Sunday. Every Sunday I go to his gym he runs a community open practice. It's open to everyone. Community open practice. It's essentially what our mission is here, encapsulated in a 1 day of training per week. Bring together as many people as possible, train, have fun, and it's like a community, and it's doing really well. To be honest, it's one of my favorite classes of the week, and we train pretty hard. I will throw that in there. It's not a light class. We train pretty hard, but it's great. And just to speak about Kenny, man, his technique is like. He's very technical.
Yes, very precise.
And he's very sneaky. Sometimes I like to, people that have trained with me before, I like to move fast a little bit or try to pass quickly. I'm like a fake Brazilian in my head with my passing, but I have to slow everything down to a snail's pace with Kenny because you never know what trap you're putting yourself into.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Great lineup. Guys, I'll be honest, I'm not trying to and this is what I told Alex, is like I'm not really looking at techniques per se because we're going to have a lot of that throughout the day from some really great black belts. I am doing more of a personal defense portion where we will do some discussion, but I want to present more of a scenario-based opportunity for people to validate what they feel they're comfortable with. So if you guys are not familiar with any kind of training with your opponent in like an impact reduction suit, and you're dealing with scenarios and what we call ballistic microfights, that's what I'm going to allow people to either say, hey, I want to do it, or hey, I don't. But there's a completely different scenario when you've just got cut off in the parking lot, and it's time to deal with a confrontation with this individual who thinks that you were clearly in the wrong. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, and what I'm interested in discussing. This is what the reason why I started jiu-jitsu, and I'm a huge personal defense nerd. I like to say choose safety. You know, that's one of my favorite hashtags, hashtag choose safety, because a lot of times situational awareness can save us from a lot of the conflicts or incidents that go on nowadays. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about. And I also approach it not from we talk about antisocial behavior and asocial individuals, right? So we're talking about, I'm not talking about antisocial behavior where the guy's drunk at the bar, or he thinks you looked at his girlfriend's ass, or something like that. Whatever the case may be, we're talking a true asocial individual who's going to snap regardless of the situation, or a violent encounter, an ambush. You know, we don't when we train for ambushes, we have this one type of ambush in our mind. And it's funny because Becca said this to me. We were having a conversation the other day. She's like, "Oh, do you mean like when you're walking down a dark alley and someone grabs you from behind?" And in my mind, I'm thinking, why would I be walking down a dark alley? I'm like, that's step number one. Like,
Right.
So yes, I guess if that's the scenario that everyone often trains, somebody walking alone at night down a dark alley, like, okay, hashtag choose safety. Why would I walk down that? That's
Sure.
We talk about left of bang is what we say in Spear System Personal Defense Readiness Coach. Shout out to Tony Blauer and all the Spear System guys. This is what we talk about, and what I want to talk about is what we talk about in the system is the 3Ds. You know, detect and avoid, defuse and de-escalate, and finally defend. You know, when push comes to shove, Tony says, be your own bodyguard, you know. And then Tim Larkin says, when violence is the answer, it's the only answer.
Sure.
So violence is a tool, and we have to get comfortable using the tool of violence. So
Sure.
I will talk about this all day. And
I think
I
I think that's why. No, you're great, and I think that's why I was excited for you to do the seminar. Is that I feel like I love sport jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no,
I think
absolutely.
sport jiu-jitsu
I do too.
One of
Yeah.
the most fun things on the planet. It's so fascinating and all of this. But I do think that it's important to understand what an actual threat situation looks like.
Yes.
Right? And understand the nuances. I mean, how important, even just body language, how important, it's like, how often do you practice? Sure, we might practice a self-defense scenario. Some guy throws a punch, you grab the arm, you clinch him up and you trip him down. But did you practice the 5 or 10 minutes before that where this guy was getting in your face yelling at you?
Yeah, that part is key, right? So that's what we talk about. That's that whole left of bang piece where we're talking about pre-incident and yeah. No, absolutely. So I didn't want to hijack that, but you did mention a good point. You mentioned competition, sport, jiu-jitsu, however you want to couch it. IBJJF New York Open, 16, 17 November. So right around the corner. Pretty big event. I've been talking to quite a few guys, and they're looking at training up for this event. So it should be a great opportunity if you like to compete, if you're registered. If not, you have time to register now and pay and get in there. Should be fun. Okay, what else do you have for the event?
Yeah, so other than that, we've mentioned pretty much most everything. We also have, was it AAA Physical Therapy, I believe is the company. They'll be coming out and doing free PT screenings and dry needling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So we'll have them set up. And then, let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about right now today. No, I think that's basically it. So we have so just to kind of summarize everything, we have the 7-hour rollathon.
Yep.
We have the silent auctions and sort of Tartaruga Battle Gear merch table. We'll also have like refreshments and things at that table as well available. We have the mini seminar starting at 11, going up until, and I should also point out that the way the mini seminars are going to work is they're going to, starting at 11, they'll start at the top of every hour and run for 45 minutes. So there'll be like a 15-minute break. So if you're just coming for the seminars, it's not like 6 seminars in a row.
Right.
45 minutes, take a break, get a snack, use the restroom, whatever. Maybe get a couple rolls in the open mat, come back. So even if you're just going for the seminars, you'll have a little bit of a break between them.
Right. Now, are you going to have it posted like online somewhere where people can see the time slots again?
Yep, we'll be posting those up. Actually, I might even get that up this afternoon.
Okay.
So.
Yep. So it'll be on a Facebook page, or?
Yep, it'll be on the Facebook page. If you look up, it would be 2019 AFSP BJJ Rollathon.
Yeah, that's the event, guy. 2019 AFSP BJJ Rollathon. So they're going to have the times out there. So if you only want to come for a certain person, or if you want to show up before that person and get some rolls in and then do their seminar, or flip it, show up, do the seminar, then roll a little bit.
Right.
The day is yours. We just want people to come out and support in some way, shape, or form. I'm at 11. So you can show up at 11:45 and we'll be done, or you can show up at like 10 o'clock, whatever. Just kidding. I'll be there pretty much the majority of the day. I'll be rolling a little bit. I'll probably be hanging out more so because I like to talk. You guys are used to that already, but awesome. And it's $25 donation fee?
Yes, $25 fee to get access to the Rollathon.
Awesome. Any last parting words for you?
Just that I hope everybody, who can make it out, makes it out. It's going to be a great time. And like Topaz was pointing out earlier, one of the coolest parts about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the community aspect of it. It's amazing. If you go to a seminar where you have a lot of people and you look around the room and you see all the different people of all different backgrounds and shapes and sizes and lifestyles and all of this, and it's amazing. All of these people came to this one sport. And I think most people will tell you, well, certainly if you're at a seminar, people who are going to a seminar, pretty much all of them will tell you that training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has had a really positive impact on their lives and helped them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Help them not only on the mats but also outside. Even just something like recognizing. I talked to Monroe, one of the seminar instructors about this all the time. Is about recognizing causal chains, right? Where with Jiu-Jitsu, it's like, I remember going all the way back when I was a white belt, I would roll with this one guy, and we would get to half guard, and then he would pass my guard. And it took me 9 months of just this same roll. He gets to half guard, he passes my guard, okay? And then one day, he gets to half guard, and I do what I always was doing, which was grabbing an overhook, and then he passed my guard, and I go, oh, every time I grab that overhook, he passes my guard. I guess I should try to get an underhook.
So it clicked.
Right? It's like just this pattern recognition, these causal chains. And you can see that, how that occurs in life, where you go, oh, every time I'm up for a promotion, I act this way and it screws up my opportunity. Or every time a relationship gets to a certain point, I do this and then this happens. Or I see this from them and it triggers this response in me. And Jiu-Jitsu can really help. I think it's a really powerful tool of detecting these causal chains. And I think that, going back to the main point of the seminar, when we talk about the AFSP and the work that they do, a lot of their research is in understanding and just the ways that people come to suicidal thoughts. Right. I think they're the largest research organization in both government and private.
Nice.
In America. And so a huge part of that is helping people to recognize those chains where, you start a chain of thought where, this is what I think, it makes me feel this way, which animates this other thought, and so on. So Jiu-Jitsu has had a powerful effect, I think, on most of us that train it in a positive light, and this is an opportunity for us to use that positivity and branch it outward to a good cause that can help other people, have a similar positive outlook because of the work that the AFSP does. So October 5th at 10 a.m., $25 to get in the door, 6 awesome mini seminars, an awesome rollathon, cool silent auction items, free PT screenings and dry needling. Make it out.
Yeah, so a few things, right? So work, play, obsession, life, and jiu-jitsu, right? So jiu-jitsu for us is a form of recreational therapy. Shout out to Alex Coleman. She really turned me on to The Body Keeps the Score, which talks a lot about recreational therapy and the benefits that recreational therapy have for treating mental health. And then that also led me to find The Brain Always Wins, which is one of my favorite books in regards to mental health. And we have exactly what you're talking about. In The Brain Always Wins, they talk about the process. And I like to hashtag trust the process. I like to post photos, trust the process. The process is really an acronym, right? So P is physical activity, which is what jiu-jitsu falls under. R is rest and recovery, which is huge. The O is optimal nutrition. C is cognitive training. So I also see jiu-jitsu as a form of cognitive training because just like you're saying, you're mentally playing this game of chess. How am I making the right move to go here? How am I setting this up 2 or 3 steps ahead? Why do I keep losing, if you want to put it that way? And you research that. So C is cognitive training. E is emotional regulation, which we deal with quite often when you're dealing with the traps or the pitfalls or the setbacks, emotional regulation. And then S is social interaction, which is what we're big on, bringing people together. Final S for process is synergy. So it's when you actively bring together all the elements of the process, what you have is a great foundation for being on the pre-incident side or recovering on the post-incident side of mental health, right? So I love to say trust the process. Again, guys, that's the body keeps the score. Talks a lot about recreational therapy, and the brain always wins. 2 of my favorite books.
I have to check those out. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, 2 things I always talk about, and you guys will hear me say trust the process, and I don't own it. I didn't coin it. So whenever Dr. maybe Fitzgerald, I can't remember his last name, once he finds out, he's going to be like, this guy's been using my my information.
Get a cease and desist.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to get like DMs in my Instagram, like. But I think it's great, guys. So before we wrap up, guys, last thing I have. If you aren't aware of it, we're running a T-shirt contest, Workplay Obsession T-shirts, right? So what we're doing is from October 1st to November 1st, the person who posts the best photo in their Workplay Obsession T-shirt to Instagram or Facebook, they're going to win a free private lesson with Max Jimenez. So the head instructor here, guys, he's competing at ADCC this weekend. He's in the top tier of 99 kilogram plus. So yeah, we're the prize is a free private with Max, and then I'll be like your dummy, to practice the moves on as Max is, giving you your private lesson. So yeah, so that's what's running right now, guys. Hit me up. I've got people submitting photos and videos already, which is awesome, and it's exciting. But it's not. What I really wanted to say, and why I bring that up is the purpose of our shirts, right? So the reason why we have our shirts are not specifically for advertising or not for creating a revenue, because we're creating a nonprofit organization. Our real reason is it's really our beacon or our commitment to people. So I tell people I don't sell them online. We don't sell them online. We don't hand them out. Everyone who has one of these shirts I've met personally and I've had conversations with personally. And the intent is, if you ever see someone wearing a Workplay Obsession T-shirt, do not hesitate to talk to them if you have an issue. If you feel like you're pre-incident or post-incident or whatever the case may be, you can walk up to that person and talk to them about whatever issue you're having. And everyone who has one of these shirts, they know that that's their charge. And we've had that conversation, because I like to look at what we're doing as like almost like a vehicle, a car mechanic or a tow truck, right? So you have to pay attention to the car before the check engine light comes on. And sometimes people wait until that light comes on, but when it comes on, you don't know why. You don't know why it's on. What's the symptom? Is it the headaches? Is it the sleepless nights? Is it the triggers from a sound? Overreactive emotions? Is it anger? Like, we don't know. So we want to get there before that. And then on the other side, if you do break down, we're like a tow truck, man. We'll come get you. So that's what we're doing. That's our mission. That's our pledge to everybody out there. Jiu-jitsu is our mechanism right now, but we're branching out to do stand-up paddleboard. And shout out to Josh Brown. Josh Brown's our head out in California. Used to train with him here. Former Lurs D guy. Close enough. I'll give you Lurs D. That's our active duty. He's not active duty anymore, but he's Army guy. Lurs D. Trained here at Ground Control. Training out in California, surfing, paddleboarding out there. So that's our next step.
That's super cool.
So yeah, just follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, guys. Workplay Obsession. On Instagram, we're also Workplay Obsession _suplife for our stand-up paddleboarding guys. And yeah, man, we try to stay on social media. We try to get the message out. Excited for this event. Excited to meet new people. Excited to take lessons with the awesome instructors. But yeah, anything else before we wrap it up?
No, that's it. It's just try to make it out on October 5th.
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
also available for contact. So if you have any questions about the event, you can get to add me at you can go to my personal page, Alex Dugas. You can find me on Facebook. You can also find my business page, Alexander Dugas BJJ. Feel free to send me a message, and if you have any questions about anything. So
What about Facebook or Instagram?
yeah, my business Facebook is Alexander Dugas BJJ. That's sort of my one-stop hub for content and
yep.
if anyone has any business inquiries and so on. And then on Instagram at Alexander Dugas BJJ.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for tuning in, right? So post-traumatic stress, depression, anxiety, guys, those things thrive in silence, right? No one should suffer in silence. And our charge here is to make the unspeakable speakable, right? Last words from Alex.
I hope to see you guys on October 5th for the Rollathon. And if you have any questions or inquiries about the event or anything in general, you can hit me up on Facebook on my personal page, Alex Dugas. Or I also have a business page, which is Alexander Dugas BJJ. I guess also I have an Instagram at Alexander Dugas BJJ. So feel free to contact me for anything involved in the Rollathon if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Until next time, keep grinding.